We're having some technical difficulties, but we are in the house. So I'm just going to reintroduce the show. This is Return of the presenting Black men's domestic violence to Black women. And just,
Okay, Black Minister, you have to mute your mic when she speaks, because that's where this feedback is coming from.
Okay, the interference. Gotcha.
Okay, and so we have some brothers and sisters that are live on with us on YouTube. So you brothers and sisters that are on Facebook, you will be able to hear the entire conversation. This is a very important topic live to you tonight. We do have a very special brother in the house. He actually approached us because, we do our shows all the time. And we were speaking specifically domestic violence with melanated females. Just what we, some of the females we were talking about, the instances that we've had dealing with men and having to even fight men, so on and so forth. So the brother stepped to me and was just like, I'm ready to do my part. To hold these men accountable, so on and so forth. That's what we need. It's going to take our brothers and to hold one another accountable. So, with further ado, I want to bring on the Black Jesus Minister. Shalom, brother, welcome to the show.
Thank you, dear sister. Can y'all hear me? I just unmuted my mic.
I can hear George. I can hear you well, but when she talks, it's distorted.
Oh, okay. That's fine, sister. Just hold tight, Miss O. Just hold tight. But everybody else, LaShawn, can you hear me, Brother Vic?
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, good deal. All right. And again, I want to apologize to everybody and everyone who's listening and tuning in tonight for our severe tardiness, but this was due to technical issues. And we want you all to know that this will be an ongoing project and an ongoing process. To those of you who know me and to those of you who don't, again, I am Brother Black Jesus Minister, Brother Black Jesus Minister, all one word. I reside in Houston, Texas, and I debate and I teach. A lot of my material is online if you guys would like to check that out, as far as videos, as far as audio. And again, you can find it by Googling Black Jesus Minister, all one word, to refer to some of my material to learn a little bit more about me. Again, I want to thank God for Sister LaShawn and her testimony that she gave and that she presented so freely on social media. Facebook in particular is where I had the opportunity to see her give her life story about her experience with domestic abuse. And listening to this sister open up her heart and open up her mouth and to be so transparent to talk about an issue that we as Black people and we as people all over the planet tend to overlook, especially the male species of the human family. And actually, I had wanted to talk about this issue a long time ago, but just never got around to doing so. But meeting Miss LaShawn and viewing and seeing her testimony about her life and what she went through really touched me. And I'm hoping that she will have an opportunity to just briefly, talk a little bit about that as she continues to introduce herself to you all and to our wider audience. I want to also thank those who have agreed to be our panel members to share this panel and this discussion with the family tonight. Again, we are discussing Black domestic violence. Black domestic violence, brothers and sisters. And as Sister LaShawn asserted earlier, I approached her and I stated that, dear sister, it's wonderful that you're speaking out, but we as men, we must take the lead on this issue because the statistics state, and it's very clear, that the majority of the abusers happen to be the men, and the majority of the victims are women. And if we're going to make if there's going to be a significant change, brothers and sisters, men must step up to the forefront, and we must hold each other accountable. Brother Vic, you might want to mute your line. I know you got a cute little daughter there.
Yes, he does.
Wow. Yeah.
Please
Oh.
mute line, brother. I'll turn up over there. I know that's right.
Okay. But that she sure is pretty, brother. But brothers, do y'all hear me? Again, this is Brother Black Jesus Minister, my brothers. If we're going to make a change, if there's going to be a change, we as men must step up to the plate and take responsibility and hold each other accountable. This is not a show to try to punk you or try to diminish your manhood or try to make you feel ill in any kind of way. But we can no longer be silent. We can no longer be complicit. We can no longer crack jokes about us as men putting hands on our Black women, brothers and sisters. And many of you claim to be conscious. Many of you claim to be awake. And at the same time, you are still putting your hands on your woman, brother, or on your sister, brother. So we're going to deal with these things tonight. And I didn't mean to go too long, but let me introduce all the way from Chicago. We got two people from Chicago. Yes, indeed, from the Windy City. Brother Victor Mann, Vic Damone, Ronnie Mann, all the way from Chicago, and Ms. O, all the way from the Windy City as well. So, brother Ronnie Mann, would you go ahead and introduce yourself? And then we're going to allow Sister Miss O, to introduce herself all the way from Chicago.
Yes, hello, people. It's the one and only Vic Damone. You know what I'm saying? Extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm located in Detroit, Michigan. All right. So shout out to everybody listening to the show in Detroit. All right. And yeah, I'm here to just speak on a few things and chime in and give you some insight on my standpoint. I mean, as a Black minister already knows that Vic Damone is Team Jesus all day. All right. We're also live right now on the Vic Damone Network Live. All right. We're gonna double stream this one. Okay, so shout out to all the people in the conscious community that already know Vic Damone. I mean, you know, some of you guys already know me. I don't have to introduce myself. And, you know, if you guys want to, address or have any questions, feel free to say something in any chat room. Now, I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on YouTube, so I see the chat rooms on YouTube, but I don't see the chat rooms on Facebook. So anybody has any questions, feel free, let them out. I'm an open book.
All right, Brother Vic, we thank you, brother. And I apologize, brother. Vic, did you live in Chicago at some point in time?
No. I visited Chicago before.
Okay. I apologize.
Never met there. Yeah, there's no problem. Yeah, no problem. We close.
I apologize. D-Town, Detroit, Victor Mann, Ronnie Mann, Vic Damone. Appreciate you, brother. And again, along with one of our most famous Black Jesus Radio hosts, my dear friend and dear sister, and a former social worker in the great city of Chicago. I would like to introduce to all of you, Miss O. Miss O, are you there, dear sister?
Yes, I am here.
All right.
I have, I would say 22 plus years of experience in this area. I've worked for the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois in the area of DCFS children and also in gang mediation. So, and I'm very political and I'm an activist, and I just don't like how Black men who get with Black women, how they mistreat them. And so I tried to start, a workshop for women, and they didn't come. So that's the reason why I'm on this radio program with you, to possibly try another time to do a workshop here in Chicago and address the issue of domestic violence. So thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you, dear heart. Appreciate you. All right, Sister LaShonda, I think you have a guest that you might want to introduce.
Indeed. Well, brothers and sisters, my sister, Dominique Clark, he is on the line with us tonight. Again, a lot of feedback. But I wanted to pretty much open up with a couple articles, just to give us some, information and background on what's really going on in the Black community when it comes to domestic violence and how females, Black women, are suffering silently. I'm going to just read this short part right here. It's pretty astounding what's going on. This is an article from CNN. I'm just going to jump right down here to it. And it speaks about how 64,000 Black females went missing in 2014. It says, according to the Black and Missing Foundation, 64,000 Black women and girls were missing nationwide in 2014. And it took just one caring Black woman to finally ring the alarm. 2 months ago, Chanel Dickerson, new commander of the Washington Metropolitan Police Department, launched a Twitter hashtag, Missing DC Girls, with photos of the missing youth. Jump down here, it says, according to there are 109 Black children under 18 in the United States in 2016. More than a number of 264,000. So, when it comes Black women and children, we are suffering, and it's as if it's its own genocide with the community. This is an article titled "Violence Against Black Women: Many Types, Far-Reaching Effects." Black women disproportionate violence at home, at school, on the job, and in their neighborhoods. The status of Black women in the United States details these many types of violence. Black women face high rates of intimate partner violence, rape, and homicide. Black girls and women are experiencing institutionalized racism. They are disproportionately punished in school, funneled into the criminal justice system after surviving physical or sexual abuse, disproportionately subjected to racial profiling and police brutality, and incarcerated at rates far exceed of the population. By drawing on the available studies, the report helps lay the foundation necessary for positive change. The data shows that more than 4 in 10 Black women experience physical abuse from an intimate partner during their lifetimes. White women, Latinas, and Asian Pacific Islander women report lower rates. Black women also experience significantly higher rates of psychological abuse, including humiliation, insults, name-calling, and coercive control than do women overall. Sexual violence affects Black women at high rates. More than 20% of Black women are raped during their lifetimes, a higher share than among women overall. Black women face a particularly high risk of being killed at the hands of a man. A 2015 Violence Policy Center study shows that Black women were 2.5 times more likely to be murdered by men than their white counterparts. More than 9 in 10 Black female victims knew their killers. It's an issue. Why are our men so violent towards us? We wanted to bring the brothers on so that we can speak from both the male perspective and the female perspective and get to the bottom of it. We are the light of the world, brothers and sisters. The melanated people here in North America, it is going to be our responsibility to restore order here on earth. We know that the house divided cannot stand. So we are going to have to hash out all of our issues, all of our differences. And there are so many different things that we need to tackle at one time, but we have to start from somewhere. And why not here, which this is affecting us? I mean, you know, brothers, do you have any comments as to, you know, the psychology? You spoke earlier about how men brag about how they beat their women. Why do men feel like that's something to brag about?
Black minister, you got to unmute your mic.
Yes, ma'am. I'm glad you brought that up again, dear sister. You know, from my observation, somewhere along the line, this seems to be a generational thing, okay, and a social accepted thing. That to assert your manhood, even among men, as young boys, as boys growing up into men, boys naturally and young boys naturally assert their dominance and the pecking order based on physical prowess or how well you can fight. Okay. Now we all know that when you become older and you become an adult, that ultimately you graduate to the level of the power of your mind. All right. But because it seems that we are an oppressed people in our own country, I'm talking about black people because we are talking about black domestic violence, black men abusing black women. I think there is an element of men taking out their frustrations or some type of aggression based on a white supremacy society that we live in on a daily basis, especially here in America. But greater than that, and that is not an excuse, but I'm just saying that I believe that has a component dealing with the issue. But literally, what I believe to be the greatest social accepted issue is that somewhere along the way, some father, some uncle, some cousin, or some other male friend, or especially in the home in reference to fathers and close family male figures, they have influenced their sons and sometimes literally speaking to them and teaching them from boys from boyhood to teenage to their teenage years that it is acceptable to quote unquote keep the woman in her place, or to make sure that she knows who's wearing the pants or whatever. And these young men who are now men who are abusing their wives and abusing the woman who is in their life, they literally were told that this is how you deal with your woman in your relationship. Men are literally told this as teenagers and as boys by other men and by their fathers in families. Okay. And so if they don't get that directly from their father, as I stated previously, then they get it from other males, and then they take on a group think mentality. Okay, so for me to be cool with the fellas or to show them that I am just as much man as they are, you know, I've got to come back the next time we get together with a story about how I kept my woman in line. And there's never really an abusive bone in that person's body, but they will do that to try and impress their friends. Now, I'm not saying that all men do this. all teenagers do this and all boys do this, but this is present and it is real. I'm not making this up. And so any man and every man who's looking at me right now, brother, you know that I'm telling the truth. And I'm asking other men who are listening to the show, this is not going to be a one-time show, a one and we done. No, this is going to be an ongoing process. And I'm asking all of you to share this show link with your friends and your family. And we want you guys to join us on our official Facebook group page, that was just recently created. I'm going to let LaShawn quickly give us the title because I don't want to mess it up. And we want you guys to go there immediately. Join the group. And if you men and women are bold enough to give your testimony about your experience regarding domestic abuse, whether you were the victim or whether you were the perpetrator, and hopefully we have a lot of perpetrators who are former perpetrators and have found a way to overcome that sickness or this illness that is destroying the black family and black people and our black nation from the inside out, brothers and sisters. If you happen to be that type of brother, okay, we want to hear from you. And send us a message at, what's the name of our Facebook group page, dear sister?
Facebook page is Black Men's Domestic Violence Against His Black Women.
Say that
so
one
Black
more time.
Men's Domestic Violence Against His Black Women. That's the name of the Facebook.
Say it one more time, please.
Black Men's Domestic Violence Against His Black Women.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, dear brothers, I am persuaded within my heart and to work with any one of you or anybody who's listening to this show to join forces with us, not just on this platform. If you have a platform, we're asking you guys to send us a message, invite us on your platform, because we want to spread this message. We want this to be an ongoing issue as long as it takes, brothers and sisters, to make an impact upon our people, and most importantly, the man who says that he is the head of his household, which you are supposed to be the head of your household, the head of your family. It is our responsibilities, because the greatest perpetrators of this abuse are men. And men must hold other men accountable. We cannot sit back and allow the sisters to try to do it, because when a man looks at a woman talking about abuse, you know, we tend to overlook them. Oh, well, she's just whining, she's just a woman. But what you gonna do, brother, when another man comes in your face to talk to you about this issue? And no, I'm not talking about disrespecting you, and I'm not talking about trying to punk you, and I'm not talking about trying to kick your behind. No, it's not about that, brothers. It's about keeping this thing real and realizing that we're grown and we're no longer children, we're no longer teenagers, we're grown men. And what we do affects our wives, affects our children, and affects us as a community and as a nation and as a people. And as men, and as a man who know how men think and know how men talk, Brother Black Jesus Minister is going to step up to the plate, and we're going to expose this thing. All right? So brothers and sisters, and anybody who's listening and tuning into this show tonight, please contact us. We need you. Brothers, we need you. It starts with us first. So again, dear sister, I'm sorry for being long-winded. And again, Black men's domestic violence against his woman. Black men's domestic violence. I'm sorry, sister, go ahead.
It's breaking up really bad. It's breaking really bad.
Well, actually, on my side, I'm great.
Okay.
Like I heard every word. So
Okay.
I'm great.
Okay, well, I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to introduce the other brother, the other father, the other husband on this line, Brother Vic Damone. Go ahead, brother, and say your piece so far on the subject and what you got on your mind initially right now. If you want to address the same
Okay.
question, you go right ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can address the same question. You know, from my standpoint, okay, you know, the thing is, like I said earlier, you know, everybody from that knows me knows that I am a person that's a believer in the Bible. I take.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second, brother. I'm sorry, but the chat is just up on both of you, and maybe it's mine that's just, I'm not sure. But
Yeah, you're breaking up.
Come back in the chat. Right. So it's a bad connection.
Well, you can still jump off and jump
So
right
can
back
you
on.
guys go out and come back in? Yes, please do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if we can help you clear up.
Yes.
All right, hold on.
Okay, hold on, LaShawn. So, Brother Vic, are you telling her to drop off and come back in, or are you telling us to do it?
Well, no. I think she has a bad signal because like everybody's clear except her, and she can't hear us clearly.
Okay, can she drop off? Can she drop off and come back in?
Well, no. It's probably her because we're double streaming. She's on Facebook and YouTube at the same time. We're just on YouTube, so that's why we're HD.
Okay.
So we're gonna hold on. Well, what I'm gonna do is I want to try to clear up for her. So I'm gonna try to hang up.
It sounds better now.
It does sound better.
Better now.
Yeah, it's gonna do that. You're gonna have pitch drops. You're gonna have stuff like that because you're streaming on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So that'll happen. You know, you really
I'm on two different devices.
Yeah, still the Wi-Fi is clashing because I've done that. I've streamed on YouTube and Facebook at the same time, and Google and Facebook don't get along. They don't want you to do that. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a no. but like you said,
sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, it's not a problem. But no. To what you were saying earlier about, you know, origins and why this stuff happens. You know, everybody knows that I'm a person that believes in the Bible, and you know, when it comes to women and the fact of them being abused by men, you know, this is going on, you know, since the times of the beginning. It could be traced back long before, you know, social media. We can go back. You know what I'm saying? And you have to look at a source. All right, what caused all of this? What caused the initial disrespect? Because we can go, okay, well, this man likes to beat on women, but 9 times out of 10, he got it from his daddy or he saw it from somebody. And then, you know, the family tree trickles, right? Because we can go all through history. When you look at movies like The Mac and Superfly, were black women glorified in those movies in the 70s? When you look at movies like The Mac, how were black women looked at in those movies in the 70s when you were children? Some of you weren't even born. All right. So you have to go even further back when we're looking at black women and saying, okay, and if we go to a biblical standpoint, the first person to throw a woman under the bus was Adam. Adam threw Eve under the bus. So this has been going on since the beginning. The first woman on the planet, according to the Bible, you know, my standpoint, was Eve. Eve was the first woman thrown under the bus. And you can look, that's right there in Genesis chapter 2, right? And it starts at verse 11 and down, 11 and 12. When God said to Adam, he said, who told you you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree which I have commanded you not to eat? And the man said, the woman whom you gave me, she gave me the fruit from the tree, so I ate it. So who was the first simp of the world? It would have been Adam, right? Because if God, who created Adam and created him first and said, hey, I'm making Eve next, do you see how all of this started? Do you see right there in the beginning, even with Adam? Adam couldn't look at God and say, well, you know what? You did tell me not to eat from the tree. It was my fault. Nobody put a gun to my head. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like nobody told me. I wasn't forced into this. But as soon as God stepped in front of Adam and said, bro, did you just eat from that tree? What did he say? Hey. She told me to do that. All right. And you gave it to me, man. Don't, hey. You see? So this was almost like genetic. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like hereditary. Men have this thing inside of their mindset. It's a chip. It's a brain. It's like you trying to, stop a dog from, mating with a female dog, and you never had either one of them neutered. How do you stop that? How do you stop that? You see, now we can identify the problem and we need to correct the problem because we see this is a problem. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it shouldn't be a point where, like me, I've been married. Me and my wife been together going on 11 years now. All right, legally, legally married. And you have those scenarios where men can be emotional. Some men can be more emotional than women. You can come across an emotional man, and a woman looks at that. All right, a woman looks at that as weakness. That's a sign of weakness to a woman. That when she look at you crying more than her, but the thing is, an emotional man can be dangerous, right? Because if a woman is emotional and she punches a wall, she might not do nothing to that wall, but an emotional man might punch that wall and knock it down.
Yeah.
Do you follow me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
that
sir.
level, that level of emotions, like, men, we're actually supposed to be the logical. We're supposed to be the problem solvers. We're supposed to be, okay, we have a problem here. Let's get to the solution. Let's not keep going through the problem. We don't have to keep touching. Once we know what the problem is, we don't have to keep sitting here talking about the doggone problem. You feel me? That's how a man is supposed to handle situations. Now, if you're in a relationship with a woman that's physical, first of all, as a man, you're not supposed to be in that relationship anyway, because that's a setup. That's a setup. A lot of men use the excuse as, well, she hit me first. Well, yeah, 9 times out of 10, look, look, your instinct as a man is to swing back when someone hits you. It's instinctive. It's instinctive. All right, nobody really supposed to be hitting anybody, because listen, I'm 40 years old. As I get older, my patience starts to leave me. I tell people all the time. As I get older, my patience I'm not as patient as I was when I was 20. All right, a girl might have slapped me when I was 20 and I might not have did anything, but I'm 40 now. All right, I'm getting older. All right, and I have a daughter. I have a little girl. You feel what I'm saying? So when I look at that little girl is a woman, and that little girl's not going to disrespect me. You feel me? Mm-hmm. You see? So as men, you know what I'm saying? We just have to establish our character. We have to get into a position to where we express ourselves of what we like or what we dislike, so we don't even have to go through this scenario of let's get physical. All right. If I say to you, I don't like people that take their slippers off and leave them at the front door. That bothers me. And if you're my woman, you should be able to respect that issue, because as a woman, you might, a woman will say to a man all day, hey, do not leave your socks in my living room. A woman will say, hey, look, bro, when you come in my house, please put the toilet seat down. Don't leave the toilet seat up. Now, men, what do? We go in that bathroom. We don't care. We just, we go use it, come right back out. But to a woman, that will aggravate her to no end, because she keeps repeating herself to you. And as a man, you're ignoring it. Right? You're ignoring it as a man. You're looking at her like, she's just talking. But now she's actually getting mad. So when she gets to elevate it on you, now, look, now you're ready to fight.
Okay,
That's a
Vic.
man.
Okay, Vic, I'm gonna have to step in for a minute, brother. Thank you very much. I'm gonna let Miss O say what's on her mind, and Sister LaShawn, the other guest that you brought in, her name is Dominica.
Dominique.
Dominique. Okay, if she would like to say something, we want to get everybody in here to say something, because if, with your permission, I would like to play two short domestic abuse videos that I think are very poignant. And one is a 2-minute video, and the other I think is like 5 minutes. But I want to do that once we've given everybody a chance to kind of speak and say something on the issue so far.
Well, I kind of want to say something first.
Okay.
Before we start taking these videos.
Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead.
When you talk about domestic violence and abuse, number one, domestic violence to me is hereditary because the person is getting abused. I remember when I was a little girl, 65 plus years ago, where I used to hear my mother's girlfriend, well, he beat me last night and then he made love to me. I don't know. If he don't beat me, then he must don't love me. That was another problem. And that was the problem that came up in the 50s and 60s. If he don't beat me, he don't love me. If he don't slap me, he don't love me. So it's not going to be brought down by there to there, but also woman to woman. Because George, he knows about her. And she's not black, she was a white girl. And notice I said was a white girl. And she called me at 9:45 at night and was screaming and crying over the phone to please help me. And her husband came home and he beat her, pushed her down a flight of steps, kicked her all in the face, back. She had broken ribs, broken arms, broken legs. But somehow she got up and she grabbed a skillet and she hit her husband in the head, which he ended up dying immediately. So I called down all the police. I told her that there had been an accident. And the police came and the medics came too. And they put her in a hospital. She was beaten so badly, I didn't even recognize her. This is a person that I had been babysitting ever since I was 14 years old. And 40 days after that, Katie died from all of her injuries. Broken legs, hands, jaw. She got a blood clot and she died. And it's all because of domestic violence. There are women that are violent, just like men are violent. So I don't put domestic violence all on the page of tit for tat, because it can't be. There's some vicious women out here, just like there's some very vicious men out here. And again, domestic violence is a sickness. And in some families, it's hereditary. So you just can't clump it all together. And it's hard to separate it from anything else but that. You know, black women get beat differently, white women get beat differently. Black women end up trying to stay there because they don't have no place to go. White women have to, it's easy for them to leave their safe houses for them and their kids, and new identities, and set them up in another city. So yeah, it goes on racial things and racial borderlines, you know. But it's not only a black problem; it's a woman problem, and it's also a man problem. So So I just kind of want to get up out of that stereotype that domestic violence is just a one race problem, serious problem. That's all I have to say.
Ms. O, thank you very much, dear heart. And again, I want to thank you very much for participating and agreeing to be a panel on tonight's first launch of this project effort to end Black domestic abuse within the Black family, Black communities. And we are endeavoring to hold all adults responsible, but primarily the men. And the men who are joining this effort, this movement, along with myself and Sister LaShawn and all the other women who are joined us tonight and those who will be joining us in the future. This is our goal, to continually keep this issue before the people and to organize, and to teach people to organize, especially men, accountability groups. You can start off with your family unit and your extended family.
Slain by her trained husband, and
she
was widely viewed as a. Yes,
hey,
the
LaShawn.
live went out. Yes, the feed went out on YouTube. I'm just keep the show going without it being messy. So I'm just reading from an article right now that's pretty much speaking about how a lot of battlers are churchmen. You know, going in, we were talking about earlier, the brother was saying that he's a believer in Jesus. I know your name is Black Jesus Minister as well. And so I'm glad we on this topic, because if there was a direction that a shop wants us to go, I know we need to keep it about and this battering. But when we talk about, you know, how emotional men are and how unstable men are, one of the main reasons is because men are out of order. We taught, and even the story about, you know, Adam and was made and then Eve came from, but we need to be realistic. We have to, you know, lay aside the things that just don't make any sense anymore. You know, and so this is what the platform is about. This is what Return is about, exposing the whole truth and really dealing with it face to face. So we know for a fact.
Yeah, I think we might have lost her again. Yeah, we lost her again. I guess she's gonna come back. You're muted. You're on mute, Black Minister. Your mic is muted. There you go. I got you back. There we go.
Okay, can you hear me, Vic?
Yeah, you're good. We're just trying to get her.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, while we're waiting on her to come back, let me go ahead and share my screen and play these two short videos, okay?
Oh, yeah. I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, brother.
Okay, guys. So I'm going to play these two videos. I'm going to share my screen. And you all let me know if y'all can hear the sound, okay, coming from these videos I will be playing two short videos real quick. Okay. Let's see. All right, I'm going to start with this one right here. This video is called Dear John. This is a domestic violence short film. Found this on YouTube, you guys. You guys can go to YouTube and check this out and share it later with your family and your friends. Let me blow up my screen. Can y'all see my screen, Vic?
Yeah. I can see it.
Okay, good deal. All righty. I just blew up my screen. Can you see the video still?
Yeah.
Blow it up?
We gotta make sure we got something.
Okay, we're finna play it now, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. This is Dear John, domestic violence short film, Project Green Light, and this is from YouTube.
Dear John, I want to scream to the top of my lungs that I hate you. Not just hate, but a burning, passionate hate. But that's not the case.
Are you able to hear that, Vic?
Yeah, you good.
Okay, all right.
I had loved you and given you everything willingly. Let you take it even. You were my entire being. I carried you. I carried you. And even when I told you, you gave me some excuse. I would have been there if you needed me. I love you. I'm sorry. You're everything to me. Lies. Because of this, I was damaged to say the least. I tried to hide my shattered heart only looking at the pieces in the dark of night, hiding my tears in painted silence, refusing to let anyone lend a helping hand, all because of you. Seems like the world mocks my heart with the love in the air and all around me, watching others engage in something I thought I had. Well, I did have, but only on my side of the road. I had it alone. Now, I don't fault you for anything because you know what? I knew that you never loved me. I knew it was all lies. Thought I saw something in your eyes all the way to your soul that wanted you to love me, and maybe that's what I held on to. I have let this plague me for far too long. I couldn't, no, wouldn't allow others to give me hope of love in my little world. I never asked for much, just for the truth, even if it hurt. But you continue to lie even to this very second. So why fool myself? I've said over and over again that I'm completely done with you. But this time, I completely mean it. You are no longer a thought, the beat of my heart, or the reason for my tears. It will take some time, but with the help of someone, I will be better. Thanks to someone close to me, I have realized this, and I will forever be in his debt for reminding me of my worth. As for you, I thank you for teaching me a valuable lesson. Thank you for showing me what I do not and will not tolerate in my life. My potential to be the love of someone's life and that I don't need you. You came to me asking for another chance because you knew I'd give 100 more. And in the next second, you disappear. Well, this time, continue that disappearing act. I found clear air to breathe, and in my misery, I'm actually happy. There's someone waiting to love me, and I'm going to give him that chance. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to let go. You ought to see me now with the sun in my smile and the stars behind my eyes. One small step for me. Thank you, Jane Doe.
Nearly half of all women and men in the United States have experienced domestic abuse. All righty. My goodness. I thought that was a very powerful and poignant video. Vic, how did you feel? Brother Vic, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I got like 2 mics going, so I gotta make sure I don't get any feedback there. It just brings me back to, my original point. The thing is, there's a element here, right? There's an evil here, right? Mm-hmm. This is what we're looking at. Mm-hmm. Let's call it what it is.
Call it what it is. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There's an evil here. All right, because that video, all right, could have easily been the other way around. It's still evil. Still wrong.
Yes, sir.
You follow me? It's still wrong. Now, the element here, like I said, when I see stuff like this, it reminds me of demonic forces. Okay, I'm all salt, no sugar. I don't sugarcoat anything. I tell it straight down the middle. Okay, because just like I believe, is that Miss O you have on the line with you?
Yes, sir, Miss O.
Yeah, and she was talking about the things that she has experienced in her lifetime. See, I was 8 years old when I watched my father physically abuse my mother. Well, you know what I'm saying? But this had gone on for 10 years. My father was physically abusive to my mother, but he had came out of the war like that. Mm. Okay. Yeah. Now the element of them divorcing, just like she said, my mother had a broken nose. Her yes, Ebony Knowledge, that's Black Jesus. He had a broken hand. All of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, the whole nine. Now, when he attacked my mother, he was in the house with my grandfather, my grandmother, my great grandmother, my great grandmother's sisters, aunts. This was a house full of family. And in that moment, he didn't care. And it was a 3-story house. So he beat her from the 3rd floor all the way to the 1st floor.
Mm.
This was at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
I was on the 1st floor. Okay. When my grandmother looked from the 2nd floor down at the bottom of the steps at her daughter bleeding on the floor, she came out the house in a nightgown with a shotgun, a double-barrel shotgun, chasing my father down the middle of the street. All you could hear her doing was my grandmother screaming, talking about, you nigga, you dead, nigga, you dead, chasing him down the street.
Mm.
All right. Now, I saw my father after that. All right. Now,
Yeah.
and I saw my mother and my father interact after that. All right. But at that time, yeah, you know, of course, I blame my father. I hated my father with a passion after he did that. You follow me? I had an underlying hatred for my father after he did that. It was like in my mind, when I turned 18, I was going to fight him. You follow me? That was my plan anyway.
Mm.
But my father ended up dying by the time I was 12.
Wow.
You see? So that was almost like a spit in the face. Like I never got my, you know what I'm saying? I never got my get back. You know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So at that point, that demon that pushed my father to the grave just attached himself to me because my father was dead.
Mm-hmm.
So then I became that evil individual that my father was, and it started when I was 15, 16. Do you see?
Wow.
And then when I was 15 and 16, I was running the streets. I was selling dope. Yeah, I put hands on a woman in a nanosecond.
Mm.
I didn't care. If a woman spat on me, I would throw you off the balcony.
Mm.
Okay? Because I was 16, 17, 18. Do you see? Because my father was gone. So it wasn't no male role model.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So if there's no male role model, then it's just, well, a human or a child or a teenager is just going to try to adapt to their own surroundings. You feel me? If I'm in the street and all the guys that are older than me are putting hands on their women, well, I'm not going to be no punk.
Right.
I'm not about to be the punk. I'm the young dude around all these older cats. And if they, the same female that they would, if they see this female punk me, I'm not going to survive out here. So then there's a little bit of peer pressure as well.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
But when this demon, okay, when this demon takes over you, it almost, you know, becomes comfortable. Like how you sit in that chair. When that demon is with you, all right, you can pretty much do anything worldly. You know, a lot of people get this confused. They say, well, why do men attack